Hey everybody, it's Ann Beebe. Today is Thursday, November 5th, 2020. I'm Barb Hammer. I've been focused, as a lot of people have been, on the uh, what I call selections, not elections, 2 days ago in the US, in particular, the presidential selection. So I have actually talked about US elections. I made a video back in March about um, uh, this big business of rigging privatized elections. Your vote doesn't count in the USA. So I provided a lot of information that I've learned since 2016, um, and some good links that I provided. One of which has been purged thanks to YouTube's habit of purging videos. So they got rid of a link. I'll have to replace it. I had provided a link to this HBO documentary from 2006 called Hacking Democracy, a very good video. Believe it or not, HBO produced it, and it focused on a lady named Bev Harris and all of her research and hard work that she's done looking into uh, electronic voting and how that has corrupted the system. And that's why it's so easy for them to rig elections now, fix elections, however you want to, whatever you want to call it. So today, though, I want to focus on exit polling. Exit polling. The gold, which is called the gold, referred to as the gold standard for measuring how free and fair elections are and how accurate the official results are. So this has come up again. I did mention it. I think I did talk about that in this video. I talked about in 2016, the exit polling in the Democratic primaries was not reflecting the official results. So it was showing, the exit polls were showing that Bernie Sanders was often winning the primaries against Hillary Clinton, but you didn't see that in the official results, and that's because they were flipping votes, taking votes away from Bernie and giving them to Hillary. Um, and I seem to recall that actually, when people caught on to that, one thing they did is I think they started saying, no, no, they started fudging numbers and saying that the exit polls reflected um, that they did reflect the official results. I vaguely remember something like that they were trying to fix the media, the mainstream media always hires Edison Research or Edison Media Research. They conduct the exit polls. Now, mainstream media, they've also, I think the AP has their own system now. So they realized there was a big problem in 2016. And then near the end of the primaries, because people caught on to this, um, the exit polls were canceled for the last primaries. Especially the big one was California near the end. So they canceled them. And I think some people tried to organize um, exit polling on their own for California, I think, if I seem to recall. But anyway, that's when people caught on to the fact that the official results were not matching the exit polls. So Edison Research, they do good work. And, they have people that go out and just do their job and they conduct these exit polls. So they interview people as they're leaving the polling station after they cast their ballot and ask them, okay, how did you vote? And people are, likely to be very honest, and you get a very accurate um, measure of how people have voted. It's more complicated now, and with early voting, so they have been interviewing people at early voting on days when there's early voting. But it's also they have contact people who about their mail-in ballot, I believe. It's gotten complicated, but they've done some. It's become, some of it has become almost like an opinion poll. But the exit polling itself is still very good. Very good information that you get from exit polling still. But I've noticed this year they're trying to muddy the waters, and so exit polling, is the mainstream media has kind of merged it with opinion polls. It seems. Um, Another thing they've done is when they report, the mainstream media reports the results of exit polls. It's not this state by state raw data about how people who voters have cast their ballot for. Instead, it reflects, oh, how black people voted, black men voted, how white men voted, how white women voted, Latinos voted. So it's this demographic breakdown, and they also ask about issues. So you don't know if the exit polls are matching the official results. So it's just disgusting what the mainstream media has done. So they've taken Edison Research, a company that their employees do good work. And then because Edison Research, the managerial level, it works with mainstream media, then all that good information just gets lost. I mean, they have the information, but it gets lost by the time it reaches mainstream media. So you end up seeing things like this. So this is from Reuters, and I thought this was interesting. They have sources, Edison Research, and the Nevada Secretary of State. Really? Okay. So that's who rigs the election, is the Secretary of State. So they got these states that are still, depending on the outlet, they're still toss up. They don't know who's won. So these are I think this reflects what the mainstream media does when they take Edison Research information and they manipulate it or whatever, so that it reflects the official results. Anyway, so this is this is New York Times. So they're keeping track of the official results, and they have these different outcomes that you get. Biden wins, Biden dominates, Biden wins the leans, Trump ekes it out, or a near 2016 repeat. So this is, the different scenarios. So it's hard to make sense of what's really going on. The other thing you see, there are a lot of ridiculous videos that Trump supporters are believing, where there's scenes of boxes of something being dumped at a landfill or something. It seems like these trucks of something, boxes or something, and we're being told that these are Trump votes are being dumped. It's all Trump votes being dumped. And then it turns out there was this one video, and it turns out it was in the Middle East or in that part of the world, and it was from a YouTube video, and there was Arabic script or Persian script. I don't know where it was. It wasn't the U.S. They weren't dumping Trump votes. But people believe these, they remind me, when I saw that, I said, it reminds me of like a CIA Falun Gong cult propaganda video or something, these propaganda videos. So, yeah, exit polling. And it's hard to find exit polling. It's gotten buried now. It used to be mainstream media would report exit polling. And the exit polling is what told us in 2000 that in Florida, the exit polling showed that Al Gore won Florida. But that's not how the official results ended up. So, I remember then people were saying, well, the exit polling is the most accurate measure of the results. And it shows that Al Gore won Florida. So Florida was the key state. And we're seeing a similar situation now where they're stopping the vote count, stop the vote count. Protesters, stop the vote count, stop the vote count. Trump's for stop the vote count. Uh, so the same. It's like 20 years ago. So, um, so there is one guy who is still reporting the exit polls. He gets the information from Edison Research and he compiles the information. And I first learned about him in the spring, and he was reporting on exit polling during the Democratic primaries, but he wasn't covering every primary. And it was kind of weird because he wasn't releasing the information until long after the primary, and showing that Bernie Sanders was beating Joe Biden. But the delay was kind of troubling, and I realized that he had a bias. So he did report factual information about the exit polling showing that Bernie was beating Biden, but he seemed to have a bias for Biden, it seemed. So what's interesting is now he is unfortunately he is reporting the exit polling for the presidential election, and I had forgotten about this guy. Unfortunately, I remembered and I looked him up. This is his Twitter account, very small Twitter account, and not many people are following him. So his name is Theodore. What is it here? I have. Oh yeah, this is his website. So this is his website, and this is his update for today on the exit polling. So Theodore De Benitez Suarez, that's his name. So he had a chart from yesterday. So this is the chart from yesterday. No, that's not it. Sorry. Let's see. What is it? He doesn't have another one, does he? No, that's a pinned. Sorry. Okay, so the chart from yesterday, it showed that so there were exit polls conducted in 24 states, and in 22 of them, I can't remember exactly. Anyway, there were discrepancies in a number of states, and but he pointed out that 4 of the battleground states, as he called them, Pennsylvania, Georgia, North Carolina, and Iowa, and I hadn't really heard much about that. So the exit polls were showing that Biden won those states, but he's behind in the vote count. And he points out that Biden only needs one of those states to win the electoral college. And so that was the chart from yesterday. And Scott Creighton on his Church Dog 42 channel discussed that. I'll give you a link to that video. And then, so he did an update. TDM Research, that's the name of his outlet, did an update. And this is the chart. So here's the chart here this is today's chart. So it says here, vote count as of 11:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, November 5th. So he's showing in Iowa, so on the left, you got the exit poll results. So in Iowa, Biden was leading by a 1% margin. And there is a margin of error in the exit polling. So that was the exit polling. And then, but in the vote count, Trump was way ahead, and by a margin of 8.2%. So that's a big margin of error, 5.4%. And he showed in Pennsylvania that Biden was ahead 3%. But in the vote tally so far, Biden is behind 2.1%. So there's a discrepancy there. North Carolina, Biden is ahead, but in the official count so far, Biden is behind. Another key state. So Georgia is looking. See Georgia. So in Georgia, Biden is ahead in both the exit polling and the vote count. So he doesn't have that highlighted. So Nevada, this is another interesting thing. So in the exit polling, Trump is behind 6.2%, but in the official count, Trump is only behind by 0.6%. So, yeah, Biden is winning the election, but you wouldn't know that by the official results. So there's all this stalling going on. And I think in Nevada, they said, oh, we're not going to report any more results until the weekend, or we're not going to announce the official results until the weekend or something. It's just a disaster. So this is very upsetting to Trump supporters. And I have to say, I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not a Biden supporter. I didn't vote. I haven't voted since 2016 in US elections. So I have no skin in the game. I don't care. There isn't really a difference. I guess with Trump and the Republicans, you kind of expect them to be have terrible policies. But I think I get kind of pissed off by Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, and pretending to be on the left and they're not. So I guess that's more disturbing to me. But it's disturbing on both sides. So a Trump Mike Pence administration is pretty darn scary too. But I guess I get kind of irritated by the Democrats claiming to be on the left, but their policies are virtually the same as the Republicans. So it's a single business party. Anyway, those are the exit polls, but they're very hard to find. And the mainstream media is trying really hard to dismiss and discredit exit polling. So I found a couple of articles that smear this guy, the TDMS Research outlet. So this article is back in March where they're trying to discredit. Yeah, so this is factcheck.org. Yeah, because they're all about facts. No, they whitewash things. So they criticize this out. Yeah, Theodore De Benitez and his. So they're just trying to discredit him and his work. And this is the same thing I was hearing from my sister. So she believes all the corporate propaganda, mainstream media, and she's trying to explain to me how exit polls do not reflect how people have voted, or they don't accurately measure how people have voted. Even there's a 3% margin of error in exit polling, but when you get outside of that, that raises red flags, really does. So here they're just trying to discredit him, and it's just ridiculous. And they're trying to say, well, if you exit polling at a certain time of day is going to be different from later in the day or after the polls are closed. I'm going, what? Just ridiculous what they're doing. Here's another article. Reminder: exit poll conspiracy theories are totally baseless. Voters have good reason to lack confidence in our election systems. But claims of widespread fraud aren't going to fix anything. Yeah, conspiracy theories. So that's the label the CIA popularized in the 1960s to dismiss, discredit, um, dissent. So crazy. It's just crazy. And this is from the Nation. The Nation, and I always like to think. Gray Zone. Max Blumenthal's Gray Zone outlet includes Aaron Mate, and he works for the Nation. So Max Blumenthal and his bunch, they're basically mainstream media, sort of alternative mainstream media. So this is trying to discredit any questioning of official results and trying to discredit exit polling again. It cites Bob Fitrakis, who I mentioned in my March video. So, um, yeah, I mean, and then they also mention in here, so they're trying to discredit Bob Fitrakis and Edison Research exit polling. And, you're not supposed to question the official results. Because if people knew how fraudulent the elections were, they wouldn't bother voting. Like I don't, a lot of people don't bother voting because it doesn't make a difference. So they also cite another fellow, Richard Charnon, who I learned about in 2016 or 2017, and he has a blog. Now, his blog is very interesting, but I think there's also a bias in his case. But because I'm not really, he doesn't talk about exit polling. That's the problem I have with Richard Chernin. So I think he kind of panders to, I don't know. I'm disturbed that he does not include exit polling. So I'm not quite sure how he's a statistician and he's done research on election fraud. But I'm not sure about his information here because there's no mention of exit polling. So he's got the electoral college. I don't know. I don't know how. So he's been predicting that Trump would win, but I thought Trump would win. Whether you know probably a rigged election. That's what I've been thinking, that Trump would probably win. Well, they're having a really hard time. So anyway, Richard Chernin. I'll give you a link to his blog. You can read it and take it with a grain of salt. So I don't know. I trust the exit polling above all. So I think with Edison Research, I think you have to apply to, there's a form on their site where you have to apply to get access to their data. So I think this guy has gone to the trouble, Edison, TDMS Research. I think he's gone to the trouble of getting this information, and he creates these charts. And he's pointed out, it seems like it's usually the more conservative candidate will win, and that was the case in the Democratic primaries in 2016. But it's really whoever they want in, and Trump, it might have been a surprise. I don't know. There was a big populist uprising then, so Trump got in, and the ruling class, big business interests, are not monolithic. I always kind of refer to the clash of titans. So I think they're conflicting interests at play. And that's why you have this divide. But they're all about money. So it doesn't really matter. Trump has the Israel lobby heavily behind him. And that's the thing about election interference. They always, this election, they've been throwing China under the bus and trying to pin China to. So Trump was trying to suggest that Biden was in cahoots with China, too cozy with China. And then the Biden campaign was trying to say that Trump was beholden to China. He has a secret bank account there. He has interest in China or something. So they try to blame Iran. And 2016, Russia was being blamed for interfering. But if any country interferes in elections, it's the country of big business. So Israeli big business, Western big business, U.S. big business is a country in itself. So that's the country that interferes in U.S. elections. So another thing, let's see. Another interesting thing that is on this TDMS Research website is this is very interesting. He has some good links here, but this is a very interesting passage that he has here in the gray here. The United States remains one of the few major democracies in the world. that continue to allow computerized vote counting, not observable by the public, to determine the results of its elections. Countries such as Germany, Norway, Netherlands, France, Canada, United Kingdom, Ireland, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Denmark, Sweden, Finland, and many other countries protect the integrity and trust of their elections with publicly observable hand counting of paper ballots. I just voted here in a British Columbia provincial election. I'm a dual citizen, and the polling in advance said that the party that holds government um, would win uh, an overwhelming majority, um, and the official results, sure enough, showed that. So it was the results were no surprise. They reflected the polling in advance. So this is the problem. The U.S. very backward elections. I think back in 2016 they were saying the U.S. ranked 47th in the world. I saw a ranking recently where the U.S. is not at the top, not in the second. Is what this was in 2015 was at the bottom of the good level and almost in moderate. And I'm sure it's in moderate, if not lower now. Things just keep getting worse and worse and worse. U.S. elections are just a joke. They are a circus. And another stupid thing was that there were from the OSC. I can't remember the expansion. There were international observers from this organization sent in to monitor U.S. elections. So they sent in a team of 100 or more in a country where there are 50 states plus territories, and they're supposed to monitor the elections. Yeah, so that's at the best two per state. Two people per state are supposed to monitor U.S. elections. It's such a joke. And then that same organization was claiming election fraud in Belarus, where they're trying to, the Western big business interests are trying to overthrow President Lukashenko because he doesn't have a neoliberalized economy. He's restored a lot of the old Soviet social programs there. So, whitewashing. This is the mainstream media and the establishment is constantly trying to whitewash U.S. elections. So, exit polling is very important, and it shows you how corrupt the whole system is. And we're seeing a repeat of 2020, and it's just being dragged out. It's just nuts. So I was watching before this. I was watching the movie, the 2002 movie, Martin Scorsese movie, Gangs of New York. So it's set back during the Civil War in the 1860s in New York City. And they're showing, how corrupt, it's a private system. So, the government, what government you had, it was all, business interests controlling everything, private interests. And so they were holding an election, Tammany Hall. So Tammany Hall is sort of always equated with corruption in government. So Tammany Hall. So the one character, so they're holding an election, and the Tammany Hall. I think the figure says the first rule of politics. The first rule of politics. Don't. Let's see. The ballots. Okay, the first rule of politics. The ballots don't make the results. The counters make the results. That is so true. And I think there's also some quote that's attributed to Stalin, but there's some uncertainty about whether Stalin actually said that. He said, "It's not the votes that count; it's who counts the votes," or something like that. Anyway, so that's the situation with the elections right now. So I'm keeping track of this TDMS research and the exit polling here. Good information, and the guy is honest. He's just putting out the data. Um, and he's been doing this for a while. Um, So good information. I guess that's all for I want to say for now. So thanks for your patience, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.